Okay.
How many years do we have?
Today. Look at number 1. What is the highest exponent?
4.
4. So what is that? No. The quartic.
Oh.
Okay. How many pieces are there? 1. So it's going to be a monomial. Okay. Number 3. What's the highest exponent?
4.
4. So it's going to be a quartic. How many pieces are there? 3. So it's going to be a trinomial. Okay, remember tricycle? Okay, bicycle. Number 5. What is the highest exponent? 3. So it's going to be a cubic. How many pieces are there? 2. So it's going to be a binomial. Okay, and lastly, number 7 is going to be a constant what? Monomial. It's going to be a constant monomial. Okay, number 9 says simplify each sum. It just means combine like terms. Okay, we start and we go from high to low. So what is going to be the highest? The K3. So we're going to say 4 plus 8 is going to be 12 K3. Okay, then I combine all the K2. So negative 4 plus 4 is 0 K2. Okay, so it's just, you just don't put it down at all. Okay, they cancel out. Okay, and then we got a negative 7 and a negative 8 is going to be a negative 15K. Okay, what about for the subtraction? What do you need to do first? Okay, be more specific.
Change all the signs behind, like the +2 minus and minus the plus.
Well, yeah, but what signs are you changing?
Oh, the second one.
The second ones are the ones right after the minus sign, okay? Because we can't change all the signs, okay? Because we don't need to change any of the first ones. Okay, so this 3 is going to become a negative, this 6 is going to become a negative, and the 4 is going to become a negative. Okay, so in the second parentheses, all the signs get changed for after the minus. And then we combine just like we normally do. Okay, the highest exponent I have is a M4, so I can put a negative, or a 4 minus 6. I can put these two together. 4 minus 6 is going to be negative 2 M4. Okay, and I don't have any M3s, I don't have any M2s, so I can combine the M's. So negative 4 minus 4 is going to be negative 8M. And then I have a negative 5 minus 3 is going to be a negative 8. Okay, 13 says find each product. What does that mean? What do we do? Look at it. What needs done? Distribute. Okay, you say distribute times, okay, whatever works. So 6 times 2 is going to be 12, and there's 1 V. 6 times 4 is 24 with no V's. Okay, 15, we're going to say 3 times 2, which is 6. Okay, and then the first guy's got 2 X's, the second guy's got 1, so it's going to be X3. And then I got 3 times negative 3 is going to be negative 9, X2. Okay, 17. You're going to run through and do the first, the outer, the inner, the last. Okay. Okay, so we say 4 times 2 is going to be 8 n squared, because there's 2 n's. Okay, and then I'm going to say 4 times negative 3 is going to be negative 12n. And then I do the inner 2, so negative 4 times 2 is going to be negative 8n. And then I do the last, -4 times -3 is a +12. Okay, who can get combined? -12 and a -8, and what is that gonna give us? What is -12 minus 8? -20. Okay, 19, you're gonna say 6 times 2. It's gonna be 12 n squared. 6 times -1 is gonna be -6n. 3 times 2 is a +6n. And then 3 times -1 is -3. Okay, we can combine the two middle ones to give me what?
0.
0. So do we write it down?
No.
No, it just cancels, okay? So it's just gonna be 12 n squared minus 3. Okay, 21, it's the opposite of what we just did, okay? So we just distributed, now we're like backwards distributing, okay? What numbers should you look at to start? The 20, okay, because it's smaller. Okay, obviously 20 goes into 20. Does 20 go into 70? No. What number should you check next? 10, okay? 10 is the next biggest number that goes into 20. Does 10 go into 20? Yeah. Does 10 go into 70? Yes. Okay, so I can pull out a 10. And as always, leave some space. Okay, 70 divided by 10? 7. 20 divided by 10 is 2. Okay, how many x's does the first guy have? 3. Second guy? 2. So how many can I pull out? 2. Okay, I can take the smallest, biggest amount. Okay, so x2 can come out. So he's going to have 1 left. He's going to have none left. And then we put the sign back. Okay, 23. We're looking at the 6. Okay, 6 goes into 6. Does 6 go into 8? No. Okay, what number would you check next? 2. We would check 3. Does 3 go into 6? Yes. Does 3 go into 8? No. So then we would check 2. Does 2 go into 6? Yeah. Does 2 go into 8? Yes. Okay, so we can pull out a 2. Okay, so that's going to be left with a 4 and a 3. Okay, how many u's can I pull out? 1. I can pull 1 u out. Okay, so my first guy, he's going to have 4 left. My second guy's going to have none left. Okay, how many v's can I pull out? None. Okay, so I'm going to put him back. And he goes in the second spot. We got 4 left. Okay, 25. These are all a equals 1. They're the simpler ones. Okay, the first 4 are the simpler ones. Okay, so we're going to draw 2 parentheses. And we're going to say n and n. We make a list of what number? What number are we making a list of? 3. Okay, it's always the last number. Okay, so 3. What are factors of 3? 1 and 3. So it's definitely got to be 1 and 3. I need a positive 4. Plus plus. Okay, number 27, we're going to draw our parentheses. I'm going to make a list of what number? How do you know it's the 9 though?
Because it doesn't have a variable.
Yes. So the one that has no variable is the one that you're always making a list of. So like if you look here, that's why we chose that one. Not necessarily because it was the end one. It was the only one that had no variable. Okay? So on this one you would be using the 70. Even if I change the order and said r squared plus 70 plus 17r, we're still going to be using the 70 to make a list. Okay? So it would be 9, and it would be 1933. I'm trying to get something to add or subtract to give me a 0. Okay, because this actually looks like this. It looks like n squared plus 0n minus 9. Okay, if there's no, because you should always have one with an R2, one with just an R, okay, and then one that's just a number, okay? And so here I got an N2, just an N, and just a number. So what group could give me a 0?
3,
3, 3. Okay, and how could I make that happen?
negative, positive.
Yeah, one would have to be plus, one would have to be a minus.
Does it matter which way you put it?
No, you could do a minus then plus. If you have two of the same, it's like this n plus 3 and n plus 3. Okay, then you should say n plus 3 squared. Or if you have an n minus 2, n minus 2, then we would say n minus 2 squared. But in this case, you can't do it because one is a plus, one's a minus. But that's like the preferred way, I guess. Okay, 29, these ones are the, I would say, harder ones. Okay, so we can say 1n and 7n, and we're gonna make a list for 30. So we got 1 and 30, 2, 15, 3, 10, 5, 6. How many guess and check options do we have? 8. Okay, so because you can do 1 30 or 30 then 1. Okay, 2 15 or 15 then 2. Okay, we're trying to get to a 41. Okay, we're trying to get to a 41. What would you like to try? Good morning. You gonna do 215?
Wait, no, 30 and 1. Yeah, 30 and 1.
30 and 1?
Very sure.
Okay, if we do the 30 and 1, we're going to check the outer and the inner. So we're going to get 1 and 30 times 7 is something giant. So that one's not going to work. Okay, and again, where should we be picking?
From the bottom.
From the bottom. Okay, even though, but I can see why you chose 30. Why? Why did you choose 30?
This is like already.
Yeah, because it's like 30 is pretty close to 41, right? But then when you like do the timesing, then it like ups it even more. So again, I would try the smaller. Okay, so you're gonna get a 6 and a 35. Could that give me a 41?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Again, I know it's tempting, right? Because the 30 is close to the 41. Pick from the bottom of the list. Okay? Start there. If you don't know where to start, pick from the bottom. Because most of the time it is from the bottom. But I totally 100% understand and support why you chose 31. Okay, and so I'm going to do a minus minus in order for that to work. Okay, last one. We got a 5. So I could say 1n and 5n. And then we got an 8, so 1, 8, 2, 4. Okay, what do you want to try? Again, I'm trying to get to a 41. 2, 4? Okay, so we check the outer and then the inner. So I'm going to get a 4 for the outer and a 10 for the inner. Is that going to work? No. So then we try 4, 2. Okay, the outer I'm going to get a 2. The inner I'm going to get a 20. Does that work? No. Okay, and at this point, really think putting what where is going to give me a 40. Okay? What needs to go where?
8 and 1.
8 and 1. Because 8 times 5, these ones are going to be 40. 8 So I'm gonna get 1 times 1 is 1, 8 times 5 is 40. Okay, and so I would need a minus minus. Okay, so in this case, was it from the bottom? No, but was there a giant list? No. Okay, so, but if there's, I would say any more than 2 or 3, I would try at the bottom. Okay, that's not to say that it can't be the top, because again, 30 is very close to 41. I would have done it too. Okay, but I've just done this a little bit longer, so I know at that point that it's not gonna be. But okay, you guys have 16 to do on your own. Go through